Have you ever felt lost, untethered, searching for something more? Welcome to Angelic Footprints, where the spirit meets the road on a journey to self-healing and rediscovery. I'm Dagmar, your host, psychic medium and seasoned traveler. Each week we'll explore the world of angels and personal transformation. We're going to dive into compelling histories and captivating mythology. You're going to hear remarkable, real-life angel encounters and discover how you too can connect with the angels guiding your path. Whether it's through practical tips, meditation techniques, or stories that resonate deeply, Angelic Footprints is here to light your way. From mystical journeys to profound self-discovery, let's embark on this transformative journey together. Are you ready to find your angelic guide? Then subscribe to Angelic Footprints today and step into a world where angels walk beside you every step of the way. Angels, spirituality, healing. Let's ignite your transformation. Hello and welcome everybody to today's episode of the Angelic Footprints podcast. I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Laura Ordile. She is a master in hypnotherapy who specializes in guiding individuals through transformative life changes. She's certified in neuro-linguistic programming and life coaching, where she leverages her intuitive abilities to bring clients to their happiest, most successful selves. As a certified color coach and infinite possibilities trainer, Laura incorporates the power of the subconscious into her approach to personal growth. She's based in Montana and she finds joy in the scenic countryside and cherishes moments with her family and friends. Laura, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, you actually just said a lot about me in the little introduction, so that tells you quite a bit about me. I love hypnosis. I love working in the woo and the practical, bringing those things together for people to help really heal some of the people that need that. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. I have some wonderful puppies and a couple kitties, and I've lived in Montana for a good while, and I do appreciate the scenery. I grew up in the desert, actually, and so now to have lived for almost 30 years now in the trees and the green, I've learned that the snow is okay because it does make it really green in the summer. So I try to stay on the positive side of things.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I do remember having been to Montana, and when they call it big sky, I absolutely totally get that because it just looks like there is just so much sky that you don't see anywhere else. So absolutely beautiful. Laura, you had an angelic experience or two. Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about those?
Oh, I'd be happy to. I had, gosh, I wish I'd thought of the timing on this, but there was a point where I was actually working in corporate, and there was a day my grandmother was elderly, and she wasn't in super great health, but I got a call and she was in the hospital, and they had come and got me out of some meetings and things. And so I was a little bit frazzled, and I back and forth trying to decide. I was not in the same state. She was in a different state, and alone. She didn't have my father had already passed, and another one of her sons had passed. And so I was kind of her connection to the world. So I was a little stressed and concerned, as you can imagine, when you have a loved one that's in the hospital and you're not there, it just adds a little bit more stress. And I let it go kind of for the day, and I couldn't do much about it. And I went home that night and I kept having this feeling of, you need to go. You need to go. And it wasn't even that she was in that serious of condition. She'd had some issues before. She'd been in the hospital before. But just deep down inside of myself, there was this thing that said, you have to go. So I was I was thinking about, and we had just not long ago moved into a new home. Finances were not in the best place. It was a little bit of a stressful time. And I talked to my husband and I said, do you think that we have enough Sky Miles? Maybe I could use Sky Miles, to go, the little miles that you gather, and maybe I just feel like I need to go. I'm not even sure why. And he said, "Yeah, go ahead, make the phone call and see what you can do." And so I got on the phone and I talked with this person. I explained my grandmother's not well. I need to get there. I need to, have a plane ride, a car ride, because she lived about an hour away from a major airport or anything. And so they talked to me and said, well, the only place that you can go it was about 4 hours away, actually, 4 or 5 hours, and a whole nother airport. I said, well, all right, let me think about it. And so then I have more stress. I'm more concerned because I had committed, I'm going to try and go. I want to go. So that felt good and right. And now I have all of this. That's going to take so much longer. I don't know my way from where they want me to go from. It would be added stress. It would take away from the time that I can put into going there. And so I was thinking about all these things and I kind of just sat back and took a breath, and it's like, I need some help. I need some help. There has to be a better way. So I just, again, heard those little words in my brain, just like the you have to go, call again, just call again, try again.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, they just told me there's nothing available. But it's like, okay, all right, I'm going to call again. And this is getting, a little later at night in my area. And so I'm getting tired and I'm kind of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I called and I got on the phone and there was this gentleman on the other end of the line. And he sounded so nice and so kind. And I almost want to say his name was Andrew. And I don't know why I want to say Andrew, but the other person I had talked to was professional and nice. And this man was just kind and different. And I said, I just spoke with someone, but here's the situation. I explained everything, and here's where I'd really like to go and fly into and fly home from and be able to go from that place. And he said, all right, let me do that for you. And I'm getting emotional even talking about it because he said, well, what day do you want to go? What day do you want to come back? What time worked best for you? Is there a particular kind of vehicle that you want to drive? And whatever I said happened. He put it into place. All right, we've got a flight right here. Is this a good time? Well, is that going to get you into where you need to go at a decent time? And it's like, yes, that works. Here, we're going to get you back home. And if for any reason you need to change this, don't worry about it. You can change it. I'll make sure that happens for you. And I said, okay, that works great. So we had everything in place for the return flight. The car, absolutely no problem. That's included you can use the miles on that too. You have enough to cover pretty much everything. And it was too easy. It was just too easy. And I just felt stunned. Like, what just happened? And I think I even told my husband, I think I might have just talked to an angel. I think an angel just
Wow.
was on the other end of the line because that flowed so easily. Everything fell into place. And I got there and I saw my grandmother. And on the day that I was supposed to come home, fly home, she passed away that day while I was there with her.
Oh,
So I was able to be there with her. And of course, I did end up having to change the flight and do those things and everything. But I was able to be there with her.
sounds like a lot of magic was happening from the other side to make that a reality for you.
It was amazing. And it just felt different and it felt so easy. And it felt like magic. It did feel like magic. It was like, how did that even happen? And if I hadn't really followed those little voices, those little hints, that feeling, I wouldn't have been there with her. I wouldn't have had that opportunity to spend some time with her and be with her and just tell her I loved her. it didn't matter anything else, and to be able to do that in person was incredible. So,
I think it's such a lovely confirmation that we really have to listen to those voices that we get, that hunch, that instinct. I don't care what name you give it. It's like following that guidance that we get from the other side. And you were able to have those magic moments with your grandmother before she passed. And I hope you said thank you to your angels for that, because that was
well,
a
yes,
beautiful.
I just
Yeah.
sat and was like, oh, I was like I said, I was stunned and I was just like, thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful for that. And then of course, when she passed, it was just anchored into me for forever, that whole process and how it happened. And it was just it was amazing. And it is a little bit of a I have to say for me, it was almost like stepping into a little bit of a different energy when that happened, because it was just so effortless. And it just felt like, wow, this is a peaceful, easy place to be. And I'm grateful.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for sharing that story. I think you said you had another story as well. Would you like to share that one as well?
I do. It's not quite as dramatic.
Well, it doesn't
But
matter. It's a story. It's an angel story. And this is what we're here for, to reinforce to our listeners these beautiful stories, how they happen to, people like not just you and me, but can happen to anybody. So yes, please, love to hear more.
and I'm sure there's more that I don't even, I haven't brought up in the moment in memory, but these were two really significant for different reasons. But this one was one, because this one was in a little bit of a different situation. But I was actually out with a friend of mine, and it was kind of late at night, and we had decided to go play some pool. We worked in a hotel, and we went in, I think it was either in the hotel bar in some place real close by that we went to. I might have been someplace close by because I wasn't as familiar with this place as I, normally would have been. So I wasn't really that comfortable. I was like, okay, I'm with you. It'll be okay. It was a little later at night. And so I went with him, and we went to just have a little fun and play some pool and stuff. And of course, it's later at night, and so everybody's a little more rowdy, and things are going on. And I, I wasn't drinking at all that night or anything, so everything was very clear. It wasn't like it was in a drunken stupor or anything. I was not drinking at all, but we were playing pool, and there was kind of a little bit of a rough crowd that came in. They kind of were rougher and loud and a little rambunctious and stuff. And so I kind of just was like, okay, we're okay though. We're gonna stay in our space. And they came around a little bit, and they were making noise and saying some things and stuff. And I was just like, okay, just laugh it off. You're safe. And as soon as I said, I know I'm safe because I have my guardians, I have my angels, I have my guardians with me. And I kind of said that to myself and just said, I know I'm safe. I know I'm guarded. I know I'm protected. And as soon as I said that, it was like time almost stilled a little bit. Again, that peaceful kind of feeling. And this happened literally in the blink of an eye, but I blinked my eyes, and in that moment I saw like the whole environment where we were. And not only were there almost like what you would call warrior angels, guardian angels near me, but they were like kind of stationed around the room, almost near some of these people that were kind of being rowdy and kind of being difficult and stuff. And they were just standing like, you're okay. I've got you. They're not going to come near you. And it was just in that blink of an eye. And I remember they were not just like human sized person. They were big. And it was like, oh, okay. And in that blink of the eye, I saw all of these different angels that were there with me. And then I kind of went, okay. And I think I maybe blinked again some one more time. And then it was like, oh, all right. Well, I'm not going to be, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to go on my way, shortly. And I felt so safe and okay. And it was so visual that time. I mean, talking to a person like in the other time, of course, was very alive and there. But having that visual come in was just like incredible. Again, it was just like, oh my goodness, wow, wow. And it was such a gift in a moment that I just felt like, I'm not sure I'm safe. Am I going to be okay? And as soon as I remembered, I am, because I have these angels with me, these guardians with me, I'm safe. And it was such a confirmation and such a visceral, visual thing that happened. And again, that peaceful calm, that quiet, and it just kind of like shut out all of everything else around me when I saw them. And then everything kind of came back into life and all the noise and all the everything. But it was like that perfect moment in time where everything is just standing still. And then it came back, it's just like, oh, and again, thank you. Thank you for that. That was so cool. Wow. And I kind of felt at the time like, ooh, was I imagining that? But I felt it in a way that was like, no. Or I should say, I wondered later if I was imagining it. No, I was absolutely very clear in mind. Everything was there. That's exactly what I saw. And I'm not going to try and dismiss it. And so I let that be another thing that kind of anchored in for me to remind me that they're always there.
Laura, it's a very different story, I'll grant you that, but still significant in so many beautiful ways. Again, having that confirmation that you're protected, that you're safe. And as you say, you needed a little reminder to say, well, I am actually safe. And then lo and behold, they show themselves to you. And I really believe that it's up to us to trust. Trust is such a big part of this process. If you would have gone away and said, no, 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 it was just a bit of nonsense, just my imagination, as people might do, then you're losing the magic of that beautiful experience, aren't you? And I really hope our listeners can take in that moment, how you've described it, and recognize that, that can be a part of their experience very much so as well. I know that you told us about two very different experiences. How would you say having that knowledge that you've got that angel protection around you, that you're able to tune into that and listen to that, how would you say that that's influenced your life?
Well, I think what you said actually is the big thing, is the trust. And I happen to be in that moment, in that second one with the visual one, kind of in a life change situation where things were kind of hard and difficult and everything was up in the air and I just didn't know what was happening in my life. Things were kind of falling apart. And so to just trust and know that even in those difficult moments, but it doesn't have to be a difficult moment. They're there all the time, but when we feel like we need the support, when everything's going well and good, we often don't think, oh, I need my guardian angel or I need, help from an angel, although they're there all the time. And you can simply say, I need that help with this wonderful thing that's going on. Can you make it even better? Can you help guide me in the way that I need to be so that I continue in this realm of things? But the trust that even in some of the darkest times, even in some of the most difficult times, and even when you think things aren't going to work out the way they're supposed to, they can and they will.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a matter of saying, help, I need a little help. Can you help me? Can you guide me? Can you go before me? Can you do something in here that allows me to get to a place where I'm going to feel that peace and that comfort and that okayness, even in a difficult situation? Because when you can experience that, even for a moment of just feeling that peace and that calm, that comfort, and going, oh, where you can breathe again, it's like, oh, okay. Because then that's available to you so many more times and that you can get to that in whatever way. There might be different ways. I often get people there on a regular basis through hypnosis, now, but to be gifted that knowledge that that is possible and that that is an absolute availability of how we can be feeling in our life is amazing. And it reminds me that there is magic in the world for us to tap into in all kinds of ways and that we're not alone.
Yeah. And I think we all need support at various times, even the strongest people. And sometimes people put on a very big, strong face, and inside they may feel like they're crumbling. And just to know that they've got that support, I wasn't going to share this, but it was something that happened to me only recently. I had a moment where I felt like I needed support, and I went into this beautiful meditation, and I had my angel come up to me and give me the biggest hug. And I felt, the tears coming down my face because I just felt that absolute love and support. And I came out of it and I said to my husband, "Would you believe me if I told you my angel just gave me a big hug?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, of course I would." He knows what I do. But that support is absolutely there. It's the trust, it's the belief, it's knowing that they're just on the other side of a very thin veil, ready to step in and to help us. Laura, thank you for your beautiful, beautiful stories. Do you have something that you would like to share with our listeners in terms of something that you do or something that perhaps you can offer and help them with?
Well, absolutely. I have a couple of things that they can go and grab for free on my website that gives them a little introduction to me. There's a color kind of meditation with a whole guidebook on there. There's what's called a subliminal recording on there that kind of you just hear the music, and there's some little mantras underneath that will help break procrastination and kind of clear that. And there's another one that will boost success. That's a bit of a guided hypnosis. It's fairly short. I try to keep those ones about 10 minutes or so. So that will just jump you in and kind of jump you out and start working in the subconscious mind to help you move in a way that you want. And my website is my name, Laura Ordile, LauraOrdile.com. Looks like Ordile. It's Ordile. Married into a name I've lived up to all my life. And so I would love for them to go visit me there. They can find me all over the socials under my name. And I'm happy to chat with anyone that needs a little bit of help, that needs someone to walk with them, that needs some support. That's kind of what I do. So I love being able to do that for people.
Laura, thank you. To all our listeners listening to this particular episode, please get in touch with Laura. Please check out her website for those meditations and that little hypnosis. There's bound to be something that you can implement in your life. And please get in touch with Laura if you feel that there's any way at all that you might have a connection and that she can help you with your next steps or with your transformation. Laura, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing. Are there any other last thoughts that you would like to bring forward to our listeners?
I think the only other thing I would say is that it doesn't have to be in crisis. I actually meet up with different angels when I just go in to initiate a conversation or I need time to work some of the things out for myself. It can be an everyday thing. It doesn't have to be a momentous thing. It can be an everyday thing. And I think that's the important thing for people to remember is the connection is all the time, 24/7, every day. Whenever you feel like having a conversation, they're there for you.
Lovely. Thank you, Laura. Thank you for your final last thoughts. In the meantime, if you found this episode valuable, please share information about the show with 3 people who you believe would find it beneficial. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving a 5-star review on the platform where you're listening. Until the next episode, blessings, and may your life be filled with hope and inspiration.